What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review for Ahsoka. We finally just finished up the last episode, and I gotta say, man, this show was fantastic, man. I absolutely loved Ahsoka, and I will say this much. This show is absolutely a love letter to Rebels. Like, if you were someone that loved Rebels, that was your shit growing up, if you were younger, or you just loved the show as it was airing, or maybe you saw it recently, whatever the case may be, if you loved Rebels, you will absolutely love Ahsoka. You will absolutely love the show. Now, if you're someone, say, like me, who has refused to watch Rebels, given how it happened with Obi-Wan or Darth Maul, or you just not, which I will say my stance on that has definitely softened since I started watching the show, because the guys mentioned my first impression, I'm like, alright, I might actually want to check out Rebels just for Sabine, because she was cool. I like Sabine. But anyway, you know, if you were in the case of me, or you were someone that just didn't really like Rebels while it was airing or whatnot, then your enjoyment of this show will vary. But I will answer this question right now, because this was something I was mentioning in my trailer reactions for Ahsoka, and I believe I mentioned this in my first impressions, was, do you need to watch Rebels to enjoy the show, or can you enjoy the show without having watched Rebels? Yes! But you will be a little confused, a little lost. Now, sure, someone like me, I already knew who Thrawn is, so that, but if you don't know about Sabine, or you know Ezra, or a lot of the Rebel characters that make an appearance in the show, man, you will kind of be lost, like, I'm sorry, who the fuck are you? Like, if there was one thing, and I might as well just get out of the way, one flaw I wish that I had with Rebels, or not with Rebels, with this show. I mean, with Rebels, you guys already know what I didn't like about Rebels. But with Ahsoka, is that I wish Dave Filoni, or, you know, whoever, just gave us some damn flashbacks to give us bring us back up to speed on these characters, some quick, you know, some dialogue here and there just to get us up to speed, tell us who these characters are, just something to get us to know, either from people that haven't seen Rebels in years, because, you know, that show ended many years ago, or just need a refresh, or people like me who didn't watch Rebels, that this is their first introduction to a lot of these characters. A little bit of like some quick exposition or whatnot, some flashbacks to get us caught up to speed on what happened with these characters and whatnot wouldn't have hurt. I don't even care if you just reuse the footage from Rebels, man. Just something to get us up to speed or something. That would have been appreciated. But regardless of such, man, this show is amazing. I absolutely loved it. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So the show starts Ray Stevenson, Mary Elizabeth Winston, Ivana I have no idea how to pronounce her last name. Natasha Liu Zizo, if I'm pronouncing that right, Rosie O'Dawson, and many more. And the plot of Ahsoka is, after the fall of the Galactic Empire, former Jedi Knight Ahsoka Tano investigates an emerging threat to a vulnerable galaxy. Now, first off, we gotta say the cast is great. Rosie O'Dawson is phenomenal as always as Ahsoka. She was great when we saw her in Mandalorian Season 2, and she's great once again here, man. She's great. Mary Elizabeth Winston, man, she's great in the handful of scenes she's in. You guys already know that I really like Natasha Liu as Sabine. I really like Sabine in the show, which definitely I'm kind of in the minority because my best friend, he told me that he does not like Sabine, you know, and all this other stuff. He gave some very, very valid reasons why he doesn't like her, and fair enough, you know, he isn't wrong there, but, you know, me personally, I still liked her, man. I like Sabine, and I hope we do see more of her in the Mandoverse movie whenever that comes out, which I'm assuming she probably will be, and I kind of have a feeling on what's going to be going on with that Mandoverse film, given how the show ended, but we'll talk more about that in the spoilers discussion. But the highlight, well, there's two highlights. One is spoilery, which we'll get into that when we get to spoilers, which I'm sure you guys already know what it is, but in case you don't, you know, I'll mention it there. Is Ray Stevenson, who plays the Sith Lord, or Master Inquisitor, whatever you want to describe this dude as, you know, the main antagonist of the film that, you know, that uses the dark side of the Force, man. Balin, man. I gotta say, man, he was fucking awesome, bro. Like, as a villain, him and Ivana as Shin, both of them were great, man. As terms of, like, duos we have seen from the Sith, man, at least from me, because, you know, I haven't, like I said, I haven't watched Clone Wars, you know, I didn't watch Rebels, you know, I don't really keep up with the Star Wars EU like that, man. Like I said, you guys are mostly just the movies and the show, handful of video games as well. You know, my knowledge is very surface level when it comes to Star Wars, so, you know, I'm sure you can think of better duos from Legends and the current canon and all that shit. But these two, man, were fucking awesome, man. I absolutely loved them. With Ray Stevenson especially, man. And it sucks because if you guys did not know, he recently passed away earlier this year. And given how the show ends, A part of me wonder if they're gonna like maybe bring him back for the Mandoverse film, or we'll see him in a future Star Wars TV series or show. Maybe either portrayed by a different actor, or they're just gonna kill him off screen and just have Shin running around. I don't know, man, but he was amazing, man. I loved him. He was a fantastic villain, and also just love their outfits, man. Both him and Shin. I love their armors, especially Shin. It seems like it was like a mixture of the Jedi robes mixed with like some like knight, like knights, like medieval knights, sort of armor mixed with it, man. Balin, he looked great as well with a slight armor piece, man. They just both looked amazing, man. And of course, with their slight series of being different, more of an orangey red shade of color, man, definitely makes them look distinct, man. And yeah, as far as Star Wars villains go, at least from the shows, man, they're one of the best, man. They were fantastic, man. I absolutely love these two, man. The score for this show is absolutely incredible. Like I think I might mention this in my first impressions as well. But this is probably the best score we have seen from any of the Star Wars Disney Plus shows. You know, like I haven't really listened to the soundtrack of a lot of them, so I might be wrong on that one. But I gotta say, man, this score for this show, man, was fantastic, man, absolutely phenomenal. I loved the score for this show, man. Like I said, it might be the best one we have seen from the Star Wars Disney Plus show, man. I absolutely love the score for this show, man. The fights for the show, man, looked great as well, especially for the final episode, man. Those lightsaber fights looked amazing. I already mentioned I love in the fight first, I love the droid for the show, man. I forget his name, but he was awesome. He was always a highlight for me, man. Always stole the show, man. I already mentioned I really like Sabine, you know, even though, like I said, I'm pretty sure my best friend, a lot of people weren't that big on Sabine, given what, you know, her character, which, you know, fair enough, they do bring up a very good point, man. I personally liked her. I mentioned a lot of this in my first impressions. One, I just like her design, man. Like I said, I love her hair. Yes, she is hot. There's that. But also just like the idea of a Mandalorian becoming a Jedi, man. Like I said, her character is definitely flawed and definitely has some problems with it. And hopefully those kinks will get ironed out for the Mandoverse movie, or whenever Sabine makes a return in the Star Wars universe from either the shows or the movies, whatever the case may be. Yes, there's definitely some kinks they need to iron out with her. I would definitely agree with people that do say they do have problems with Sabine's character, and people just don't like her. Completely understandable. I can see, I see their points. But, you know, like I said, I personally liked her. I thought she was cool. But, you know, that's just me. Of course, there's some other stuff, man, that we can get into. But like I said, there's a lot of shit about this show that I really liked, man. But I can't get into a spoiler. So this video is definitely going to be predominantly most of the spoilers discussion for this one, man, because there's a lot we talk about. Now, let's talk about the main man himself, Thrawn. Because obviously that's what the big show is leading up around, is, you know, like the return of Thrawn and everything, and more or less looks like he will be the main villain for the Mandoverse movie whenever that comes out. But I will say, just to get a little bit into Thrawn without getting too deep into it, just for spoiler reasons. First of all, he's not in the show as much as I originally thought he was, given how much they gassed him up and everything. He was in the trailers a little bit. I thought he was going to have a much bigger presence about most of the show, man, but he doesn't come out until like the last few episodes. So there's that. But when he does show up, bro, shows up, man, oh my god, is it fucking awesome, bro. Like, I've obviously known of Thrawn from the novels and everything, but I haven't read them myself. You know, I know of Thrawn, but that's about it. Like I said, I didn't watch Rebels, so I didn't see him in there as well. This show was my introduction to Thrawn, for me, anyway. And I gotta say, man has instantly become one of my favorite Star Wars villains from his appearance in the show. First of all, the dude looks cool. He sounds amazing, man. I'm pretty sure they actually, if I remember correctly, they apparently got the same voice actor that voiced him for Rebels to come back and reprise him for live action as well for the show, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong on that one, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But they got his voice actor to come back to play Thrawn in live action as well, which is pretty cool. That is indeed the case. But, bro, this man has one of the most badass entries I've ever seen in a Star Wars show, man. Like, I'll go more in depth with it when we get to the later parts of it, man. Thrawn is fucking awesome, bro. If you are a fan of Thrawn from the novels or Rebels, man, I think you guys will be pleased with how Thrawn was used in this show, man. And yeah, I'm excited to see more of Thrawn in the Mandoverse movie whenever we see him next. But it ends up not being the Mandoverse, but it looks like he'll be the main villain for the Mandoverse movie when that comes out. Now, I already mentioned flaws, which they kind of gave us some more, you know, gave us like a heads up or like some recap on the Rebels to get us all up to speed for people that didn't watch the show or just need a refresher on what happened in that show, man. They also could have spent, that also goes to Thrawn as well. They gas up Thrawn so much, but don't really tell you much of what he did because, you know, I guess Dave Filoni would just expect you to either know this from the novels or from watching Rebels and all that stuff, which, you know, fair enough. You know, a lot of people have already done that are hardcore Star fan, but for people like me that didn't, you know, even though I do know of him, it would have been nice to like show us some stuff, tell us about what some of the stuff he did that has him where he has the reputation that he does, man. This is something that just some guy mentioned in his videos, and I definitely agree with them with not really explaining about who Thrawn is or why he's such a danger to the galaxy and everything, man. That would have been nice as well. There's a lot of like this show definitely expects you to have watched Rebels at the very least, man, without a doubt, man. And like I said, the show is a love letter to Rebels, so fair enough, I guess. But yeah, that would have been nice for some more additional explaining on like Thrawn as well as some of the other characters to get us all up to speed. But yeah, besides that, man, there isn't really much more I can say without getting into spoilers. So that's where I'm doing the spoiler-free sketch for this video, man. I'll give you guys my final verdict as per usual, and then we'll get into the spoiler sketch. So overall, my final verdict for Ahsoka is going to be a 9.5 out of 10, guys. Hell, guys, if I was a big fan of Rebels, if I watched it while it was airing or whatnot, man, shit, I might have given this show a 10 out of 10 if I had already watched Rebels. But of course, like I said, I haven't. I will say my stance on that has softened since watching the show and how much I was enjoying Sabine, Like I said, I might watch Rebels now just for her. Not gonna lie, not gonna front with y'all. But, whatever the case may be on that. Anyway, guys, as mentioned before, we're now going to get into spoilers. So if you guys do not want to get spoiled about Ahsoka, leave now. For everyone else, let's just jump in. So, let's get to the big one right out of the way. Hayden Christensen is back. Obviously, a lot of people have been theorizing we will see Hayden in the show. I was as well, but I didn't want to get my hopes up just in case that didn't end up happening. But yeah, man, Hayden's in here, man. It looks like they actually did de-age him this time, which it looks like they didn't do for Obi-Wan Kenobi. It looks like they had to go through the trouble of de-aging him. Looks pretty good, man, at least to me anyway. But yeah, man, Hayden was amazing in the show, man. And then, of course, we finally get to see him in the Clone Wars, wearing his Clone Wars armor, man. And seeing Hayden in the Clone Wars garb, man, was just so fucking awesome. And seeing a young Ahsoka in live action, just seeing the Clone Wars in general in live action was such a treatment. Like, I do hope one day we get a live-action Clone Wars show with Hayden and, and Ewan McGregor, bringing the crew back together, man, for like a 6-episode miniseries of the Clone Wars, man. I don't know where you would put it or what you would do, man, but that would just be cool to see, man. Just to see Hayden and Ewan in their Clone Wars outfits, man, and just seeing it all in live action. It would have just been so fucking cool, man. We got that, man. I don't know if we will. I'm satisfied, man. We got the Clone Wars flashback. People were begging for it in Obi-Wan Kenobi. They're hoping we get it there. We didn't, but we got it here, man. Hopefully one day we'll get to see Ewan in the Clone War in the Clone Wars wearing his Clone Wars outfit. That would be legendary. But whatever the case may be, man, it was amazing here. That whole episode, man, I think that was like episode 5, if I remember correctly, was probably the best episode of the entire series. Obviously, there's a lot of bias in that because, I'm a prequels guy and we're seeing the Clone Wars and all that. So there's obviously some massive bias in saying that, man. But that was just such an amazing episode, man. Just seeing Ahsoka and Anakin talking one last time. Now with Ahsoka being like her own Jedi Master training Sabine, and just seeing them fight each other one last time, man. Seeing Hayden again. Once again, his performance was incredible, man. As we see him go through the Clone Wars, the beginning stages of the Clone Wars, or at least the beginning seasons, the later seasons, and then we kind of see him turning into the Sith Darth Vader before he transitioned, before he got the suit and everything, with the yellow eyes facing up against Ahsoka, man. And the shots where we get to see Darth Vader for a hot second, man, as he's marching towards Ahsoka or marching into the battlefield, bro. When I saw that stormtrooper come out of the fog, bro, I lost my fucking shit, man. Like, that was such an amazing episode, man. Easily the best one in the entire series, man, probably. But yeah, man, that was such an amazing episode, man. That whole episode with the Clone Wars was amazing. One thing I did mention this in my reaction, and I'm just remembering this, is that I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my reaction that we didn't end up getting shown up, because kind of sad we didn't, was figure out what was up with Baylan and Shin's lightsabers, because as you guys know, they were more of an orange-reddish color compared to the standard red we would see from Sith lightsabers, and I was hoping we'd get some sort of explanation on that, say some backstory on them, on how they became Sith, and just something to explain why their lightsabers were more of an orangey-red color. None of that gets explained, never really even gets brought up, which kind of sucks. I mean, I'm sure maybe they'll probably expand on this in some fucking comic or a novel or something, down the road, and be like, hey, here's why their lightsabers were more of an orange-red or something. Probably, but it would have been nice if we got some of that show just explain why their legends are different, because that definitely something that was I instantly noticed. I kind of wish we got to see get explained on was that. All right, now let's get into Thrawn, man. Okay, so I mentioned Thrawn has like one of the most badass entrances I've ever seen in Star Wars, man. The song that they were playing, like I said, the score for the show was incredible, man. But I love the song they're playing where it's just like chanting Thrawn, 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 Thrawn. And like, bro, this man got the coolest looking stormtroopers ever, bro. Like the red with like the red markings on them, man. The one stormtrooper that had like this golden face on his helmet looks sick. And then we see his holograms. This man got the coolest holograms ever, like this green mist. We got like those like witches, those Sith witches or whatever they are, man. The Dark Sisters, I don't know, whatever they're called, man. They looked really fucking cool, man. And then we get to see her, like the chick that was like looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn, become one of them and get this green sword that has this green mist coming out of it. Looks cool. We see freaking zombies in Star Wars, which was hype as shit, man. Seeing like zombies and seeing like zombie stormtroopers in a set, man. That shit was fucking cool, bro. That whole final episode was amazing, bro. One other thing I did love that was pretty funny, man, was while Sabine is running trying to find Ezra, was I love that first of all, I love the creature that she was riding on, man. That creature looked amazing. But one thing that I thought was pretty funny was when right when she gets attacked by like some bandits or whatever, the dude jumps shit and runs the fuck away, leaving her all alone to face off against these bandits. And then later on he comes back after she's beaten them all, and she's like, "Whoa, now you want to come back? Fuck you!" And when the guy's like, and the creature's like changed, like kind of like following her around, and then she eventually forgives her. That whole moment just had me cracking up, bro. Love that shit, man. But we end the show off with of course, Grand Admiral Thrawn finally escaping, and now he's back, returning to the galaxy to rebuild his empire and thing. Like I said, everything in this show is leading to where it looks like he's going to be the main villain for the Mandoverse movie, and, you know, maybe kind of be the new big bad for Star Wars for, I don't know, phase they're on or whatever. Like I said, this could just be for the Mandoverse movie, but I'm excited to see more of Thrawn, man. Like I've heard so much about him from other people that have read the books and everything. Like one of the guys I knew in college, he had read the books as well. Like when he was a kid, his like dad read them to him when he was a kid. So he was hyped up to see Thrawn finally in live action. So, and you know, I was talking to him on Instagram when that episode came out. He was hyped as shit for him, and he loved it. So I'm sure that like a lot of people that grew up with the books or loved the books, man, are happy with how Thrawn was portrayed here. But yeah, I'm hyped. Thrawn's instantly become one of my favorite villains in Star Wars, man, just from these episodes he's appeared in, man. And yeah, I'm excited to see what they're going to be doing with him next. Like I said, most likely in the Mandoverse movie, but we'll have to wait and see on that. And yeah, that's about everything that I can think of that I can talk about spoilery anyway. Like I said, you know, if I was a fan of Rebels, I'm sure there'd be more I could talk about here about like Ezra and all this other shit. But, you know, like I said, I haven't watched Rebels, so I have no context with any of that stuff. But yeah, man, great. Just a fantastic show, man. Loved it. And yeah, I'm excited to see what's next, whenever that comes out, man. It looks like we're going to be going for a pretty long time without any new Star Wars content, at least for now. So yeah, next week you guys know it's going to be Loki. Season 2 is going to be debuting finally. As usual, we'll be doing the first impressions review of that when that airs. And yeah. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments. Guys, what you thought of Ahsoka? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you enjoy Rebels, man? Did you hate it? Did you swear that you'll never watch it because you were pissed off at how they handled Obi-Wan and Darth Maul's rematch? Leave it all below in the comments, guys. And yeah, as always, hope you guys enjoyed the video. You like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on my social if you feel like it. Links down below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.